Oh yeah. So today, as we wrap up harvest, that's what I'm doing. I'm finally wrapping up harvest, and we'll get back to a lot more regular videos. But we're gonna talk about some old combines today and see some old combines. Here's a Massey 850, so the 50-inch cylinder, 354 turbocharged Perkins with an intercooler, and yeah, hydro. This is hydro, right? Yep. 1163 corn head. Yeah, and I had just looked it up. I was thinking it was mid-80s, so 81 to 87 these were built. They had a gray cab 7 series. That was the late 7 series. Then they went to this, and we kind of forget Massey was, you don't think of Massey much in combines now, but man, at one time they were #1 in market. So yeah, the old Perkins. And then they got a rethresher back here, so it'll rethresh the tailings, right? Yeah. So that's kind of an interesting idea. So a separate tailings return, and then yeah,
Flings it right back into the sill.
yeah, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so we're gonna go see her combine some corn. But yeah, straw chopper. This was a big combine when they were new. Yeah. Well, she smokes pretty good. So I must have 2 rows too close to each other. So they're able to do a comparison of hybrids. So it's basically 2 combines, so it can do side by side. So they're sampling the center rows. So every 40 feet, you gotta stop and they check out what the yield is doing, and then it'll go to the next break in there. But yeah, these were, like I said, I think mid-90s combines. Yeah, Ford diesel in these, For like the 6 series, I believe that's when you'd have the cat, stuff like that. So, pretty cool combine. But you can hear that old 750 just howling. So this would be an older model than that 850, but same size combine. But I think things like the rethresher and the cab is a little bit different between the two as far as they updated that cab and the 850. I mean, they look real similar. But yeah, that Perkins really smokes. These aren't intercooled then, where the 850 got the intercooler, but I believe a 354 Perkins. Some of the 8s then got the V8 Perkins in them, but pretty cool. So this one does have the rethresher on it too. That's kind of cool. This is a later 750. This gray cab and the gray wheels. Yeah, she really howls. So when I was growing up, a neighbor had one of these. His might have been a 60. No, it was a 50. And well, that was something else. It's quite a combine. Okay, so it isn't combining right now. It's set up with a dummy head, actually. But I wanted to show you guys Barb the combine. This just is cool. Yeah. How often do you see somebody that has a name painted on their combine? This is Barb. And Barb is I guess the story is, this guy had 2 daughters and bought 2 new 7700s and named one after each daughter. So apparently this was Barb's 7700. These guys bought it from a guy in New Richmond, Wisconsin, who bought it from out in the Dakotas. That's where it came from. That's where it was new. But you know, got a Deere dummy head on it. Looks like a Melrose pickup. But neat combine, because 7700, this was a big combine. It's an early one, and it's a gear drive, but rotary screen diesel, not a turbo, but really cool combine. These 7700s were huge when they came out. Like, that was a unbelievable combine, you know. So yeah, but I figured I'd show you guys this because we'll go up in there. But how often do you see a Barb the combine? So they claim the air conditioning works. Dome light doesn't though. Maybe the battery's unhooked, but I guess we could check. So that says Argyle, Minnesota. So that's way up northwestern Minnesota. Oh, there's power. He did say she starts up. You can see if she'll start. Give her a little throttle. Ooh. We don't want to run the batteries down, but yeah. Boy, it's in great shape, though. Really, really neat. So this should be a 404 non-turbo. Yeah, let's take a look. So yeah, 404 non-turbo. But it's got the fuel pump mount, you know, like a 4320 or 4230, not a like a no, a 4020 would have a pump. It's the later mounted pump. Yeah, the AC compressor looks good. Really cool combine, and it's a rotary screen. So the early ones were flat screen, but this one's a rotary screen. So if you notice that, it says grain combine. It doesn't say corn, soybean, grain combine. So apparently, maybe this one doesn't even have the right cylinder rasp bars for for corn and beans. But one thing kind of cool, hydraulic auger. So you don't have to manually fold this one. It's a really neat combine. Well, this is the big one, the 8820. This was the, I don't know. I think the Gleaner might have been the other one that had a factory 12-row head first. But 8820 was a big combine. Sounds good with that straight pipe on there. And they just got this one. They've had a 6620 side hill for years and years and years, and just got this one. And yeah, she doesn't turn real sharp. She's got a mud hog on it. So yeah. So yeah, 6-row head is awfully small on this combine. You got to run it pretty fast. But so my plan, I was gonna take some video of this in action, and it got too late on me. Where they were hauling the grain to here closed, so they were done for the day, and I was just on my way over here. But this is one of my all-time favorite combines, 7720 Titan 2. I had one. I traded it in on my 9510. And love my 9510, but I wish I still had my Titan 2 also, just because. Man, these Titan 2s were a big deal when I was a kid from the standpoint of the Titan 2s were built from 85 until technically 89. The 6620 Titan 2 side hill was built in 1989. The rest of them, the 6620, the 7720, 8820, just regular Titan 2s, were only built until 88. And then the 95 and 9600s, the 9400s came out. So these were built right in the farm crisis. And, you know, guys weren't buying a lot of new equipment during the farm crisis. So to see a Titan 2, it was like, man, they're pretty cool. There were one or two around. And I remember kind of a fun story. My dad picked me up from school in 5th grade to go to the John Deere. I think we needed a sediment bowl for a John Deere A, and Dad picked me up to take me to the John Deere dealer with him. He stopped the school bus. He knew what bus I was on and got me off. And we went to Durand, and they had a brand new 7720 Titan 2 sitting there. And I just always thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I ended up, I don't know, I think Dad, or maybe I bought it with my own money, but I had a Titan 2 hat that I bought then at John Deere at Durand Implement. But yeah, he said go ahead and fire it up. So we will. So the difference between a 7720 Titan 2 and a 7720, a yellow top, is the Titan 2s had a little bit more sieve, I believe. And maybe the concave I thought was a little bit different. There were like extensions on the concave, maybe. And then they sped up. The Titan 2s ran faster. The shoe was faster on a Titan 2. Everything was faster. And then engine-wise, they had a 50 series engine, whereas the 7720 was a 466. These are a 7.6 liter. So, but yeah, really, really cool combines. So they call these a Soundguard styled cab on these because they're not really. I believe these were made by another company for Deere, but yeah, look just like a Soundguard cab. So. Oh yeah. So kind of interesting. It's got the older style display. Huh. Mine had the green, like a later one. But maybe that was replaced. But well, yeah, interesting. Yeah, these are a cool combine. John Deere radio. Yeah. Yeah, they're louder than like a 9500 or 9510 because obviously your engine's over here. But yeah, they're just cool. And here. That's awesome. Do that with your S series. Put a lot of hours in this view, and I've gotten so used to running my 9510 now that it feels different. But actually feels pretty cool. We'll tilt the wheel. So yeah, your throttle is mechanical throttle down here. Hydro is up here where that 9510, you know, everything's right here, but still pretty cool. I do like these combines. So this is a MC tower dryer. So it's greens, but the tower dryers, I would figure, are pretty efficient because the heat is rising. So as the grain cools, the heat is going up through the wet corn. So cool setup, but you got to have a leg to run them, and yeah, there's a lot to them. But really nice dryer, and then their bins are kind of all over. They're running an air system. Real quiet air system though. But yeah, I love watching dryers steam at night. And how about this for an auger tractor? 1026 hydro, narrow front. That's a big auger to load the wet bin. So that's your wet bin. They have a hopper wet bin. And no wet leg. They use an auger with a small pit. So you can drive over and unload. So nice way to do it. Water isn't a big problem. Yeah. You can unload fast. So this is a mixed flow. This is an MC also, but so a lot of guys are going to these mixed flow dryers. They're quiet. Well, yeah, like I thought, they said like 2,500 bushels an hour. This will dry. There you can see the burners lit. Yeah, you can fit my dryer inside of this real easy. Oh. Lots of steam. The temperature it's colder. This is later at night than when I recorded the other dryers. Yeah, lots of good steam coming off my dryer tonight. And my dryer is not as quiet as theirs. Okay, Saturday night, I got the new bearing in and the outer bearing. I don't know. It turned out to be a lot of, a lot of stuff. It was a real pain. It didn't go good. But yeah, I don't know why every bearing on this combine, when you go to replace it, the shafts are like seized to the bearings. Like I put that bearing in there couple of years ago and I think I torched it off. Like, yeah, tolerances I guess were tight when they built this. But yeah, so I am going to fire this up, move it, And then we're gonna unload that corn. So yeah, unload that corn. I think I'm gonna load the truck, and then I'm gonna probably that'll be enough. I am shot. So last night, I worked on this until like 5:30, and it was raining, and all the rain was just coming down on me here, and then we had to go trick or treating. So we went trick or treating, and got home late at night, and that was that. And then today, worked on it today, and then we had to preg check. We had to Epernex, and then vaccinate the cattle today. So we had to do that today too. But then I finished this up. So yeah, I'm ready to get back to harvesting. So let's see. So I'm down here combining at my mom and dad's. There's 8 acres of corn down here. But it is phenomenal dirt. This is really good dirt down in this neighborhood. So that's why I come down and do this little bit. Mom and Dad have sold everything except 11 acres off, but still, it's where I grew up. So I still like to come down here, you know. All right, so we got the last rows at my mom and dad's here. Like I said, it's only just a hair under 8 acres. But this, like I said, really good. That's the old finishing barn. So there were hogs and dairy here at mom and dad's when I was a kid. And yeah, really nice little piece of ground. But yeah, it's small. There ain't much here, but it's good ground, so it's worth coming down. Like I said, it's kind of nice to just come down here, you know, and work on this ground. I grew up here, so yeah, feels good. So there's a lot of stuff I like about harvest. I generally enjoy harvest, but one of my favorite things is when I start up the Transstar for the morning and get going. I love driving this old truck. Just at harvest. If you ran it every single day for hours, it'd probably get old. But I really enjoy driving this truck to haul grain with, back to the farm. So, pretty neat old truck, These Transtars, I always say between the IH 4070B Transstar 2 and the GMC Astro, they were half the trucks on the road when I was a kid. So, yeah, it's pretty neat to get this thing going in the morning, and just a cool truck. If this truck could talk, the stories. Thursday night, we're trying to finish these beans that I quit combining about 3 weeks ago. I switched over to corn, I guess not quite 3 weeks ago, but just about. And, as it turns out, the reason I was having a lot of problems was slip clutch for the feeder house was bad. But anyway, we're getting them now, and the moisture is not too bad. They aren't overly wet. They picked up a little bit from as dry as they were. It's kind of nice that, so what happened here on this farm, in places, there's patches of it, crabgrass came in because we were so wet. We were wet in August, and crabgrass came in. And I had that happen on 3 farms, and the one I sprayed it was driving me nuts, and it just wrecked the yield. It was terrible. So these, I was really struggling to combine them, and the weather wasn't great, and I just said, you know what, we're just gonna go to corn, and I'll come back for these. That's what I'm doing tonight. And had some problems. When I started here earlier, I kind of forgot to record, but the sickle quit, and the bolts that hold the sickle on broke, and then the sickle had jumped the guard on the end. So I think that's why it did it. But I had to go do that. Oh, there we go. Grain tank's full. Good. That's always good. So now I gotta run home. It's only 9 o'clock. So I gotta run home and unload the Transstar. And then I'm gonna bring the Transstar over here and we'll put the beans on. And I'm gonna finish this tonight. I'd like to just call it a night, but you know, there's only about little over 4 acres left, I think. And be nice just to get done. Then I go back to corn tomorrow. I gotta haul some dry corn out tomorrow. And then yeah, we can finish the last, I think there's 16 acres of corn at home, I guess, left. So yeah. So that's the last of the 2025 beans. We're going to take them in and sell them tomorrow. They ran okay here. Lost some yield from, you know, being in the field for a while. Not, I don't think a lot, but yeah, probably lost a little bit from, but we did pick up some moisture, which helped. So there's still plenty dry, I think. But yeah, I'm just glad we got them done. And I'm ready to go home and go to bed. It is nice that you could, you know, combine until, well, it's 11:15 right now. So yeah, early you wouldn't have been able to do this, but now that everything's, you know, it's late in the year and everything was, you know, froze and, you know, finished, then everything went good. So gotta go get rid of some beans. That's all I'm gonna say. I gotta load up the semi here so I got enough room that I can fire the dryer back up. And you can see it's cold out. Big old cat. So it's Friday night, loading the corn out, so we got room to put the rest of the corn in the harvester. Alright, it's Saturday morning. Charlie and I are combining. We're gonna finish corn today. So he found some fruit snacks in here. I found his toy tractor that was in the Transstar the other day. I gave he's got that. We got our books. Yeah, we are gonna finish combining here. He was driving the Transstar while I was greasing. I could hear the engine pull down. It's when the steering, it's belt drive power steering, and I could hear it when he was steering. So he's having a good, he's trucking. He is my farmer, right? Should we do this, Charlie? This is flat half-mile rounds, or quarter-mile, yeah, quarter-mile rounds. And this is pattern tiled right in here. So this is really, really, really good corn. Over the tile. Yeah. Doesn't get a lot better than that for me. And the yield monitor is about, I figure 4% off is what I was kind of coming up with. But yeah, the home farm here, I expect we should get 220 plus corn every year. You know, I do continuous corn here. Yeah, the high end of the corn was off a little this year, but the bottom end of the corn was really good. So, I don't know. here we go. This is the last 2025 harvest. Right here at home. It's nice and finished at home. There we go, that's it. 2025 corn harvest. Well, that bean harvest, I already did that too. So yeah, we're done with harvest. Cool, thank you.